Inside here.
Yeah,
Ja,
there's a
nou,
chair.
dit van
Jay, there's a chair here inside.
No, no, say,
The cushions off.
she stands straight in the tree, you know,
There's
she's
Randy,
here,
yeah,
the
they
tree
just
about
pulled
this high.
everything out of the
And at the
cupboard.
angle, it went up first, and there was a big branch.
Alright.
And then it hit this
Yes,
branch and
I
came
saw
down.
that
So as it hit the
fancy
branch, the skull next to it broke her neck straight
Put the
away.
light on, Jay.
Natalie came out and knocked the spatula. Just a few glass there where the paramedics pulled her out of the window.
And a friend
Shut
of
with the
Then
light
just
on.
killed on the
Oh, that's
spot
right.
instantly.
Actually, the light is
Now that's how, this is 1 year
Leave it
ago.
on for those
Yes,
that want
So
to know.
now Natalie's had to cope with that. It's
Yeah.
been a very traumatic year for her.
Yeah, boy.
The other girl's parents
So
were
what have you been doing?
phoning and
Playing
telling us
squash?
you telling murders, bitch and all
No,
that
just
for weeks
just
that after.
mother.
Oh, we started getting in the mood.
Yeah.
And then Jay all sorted it out. And since then they just left it. But I mean, you know, it could have just been the other way around. You know, how would I feel? Exactly the same.
Just put on
She
what
told me
you
about
want,
that last
okay?
time when I was
But
here.
that just shows you these bloody bullshit you when they go out and they're doing this and that. And, you know, they get cross when you say, you know, you're not
Yeah.
allowed to. Tell me the truth or you stay at home one of the two.
Yeah. Jeez, it's so easy.
Yeah.
As you say.
So quick. Eh?
But she could have been stoned, you know, I mean.
But if you see the cars, they say, you can't believe anyone can come out here alive.
Around
And where are you staying now?
in
Joburg
Joburg.
never phones, doesn't know the phone number.
And then I'll
Yeah,
phone you guys.
definitely.
We lost it, you see, car.
Yes, it's
Last
been-
time he was here in Bloom, I think we
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Grandpa was
yeah,
in hospital.
beginning of the year, yeah.
4 years ago, eh?
It was ages ago. No, serious.
Did you see him now when he was here?
No.
No, where was I?
You in Princeton?
I was in
Oh, you
Princeton,
went
yeah.
through the stuff, that's
I
right.
just went through that and then I think you guys came down on the Saturday.
Yeah, I missed you by like 1 day.
That's right. We left on the Saturday morning and then he came down on the
As
Saturday.
soon as she hears a new voice, then she's up. To
Let me grab one of these.
Oh, but I went out with
Sure.
Nats
And the voice DJ, and help yourself
Oh,
to
that's
some tomatoes.
No, but no, I say it was.
Shame they're cold, man.
Can't know what's going to happen.
All right, just give us a shake.
Because you squeeze the thing.
Enough is enough, just tell her to lie down.
But so you got your flat or town?
Yeah, I'm just staying with these two
Cherry.
girls, eh?
Cherry,
Oh well.
lie down.
That's terrible.
I
I'm
was
sorry to
staying-
hear
I
about
was-
that.
I was staying with this
That's terrible. My condolences.
this 35-year-old, and I was supposed to move in. The other roommate was this gay guy, so I was a little bit like skeptical, you know.
Ah.
And then luckily for me, he had a drug problem. So the day before I was supposed to move in, this guy just cleared out. He took all his stuff, and before the lady got home, he moved out and didn't pay his rent. He left her with like a 2,000 rand phone bill, and he moved out. And that day, she got another roommate, and she introduced me to this girl and this tall blonde 24-year-old. I was like, yeah, that's much better.
No, why not? Why not?
No, look, I'm not complaining.
And what are you doing with yourself now?
I'm studying advertising.
Oh, right. Ah, great.
I was just about to warn you.
Well, at least I
Is
didn't put it on
serious
my lap.
outside, Jay? No, Sherry, come get down. Sherry, I can't shake hands all the time.
Debbie's punch drunk by now. What kind of family have I got involved with here?
You had to have same things over and over.
Damn it. No worries. Honestly. No,
That's
Small bit short.
no. No, but in an attempt to not wipe my hands with the serviette that's dirty, the stupid roll fell. No. I'm just gonna have to eat it.
Yeah, all right. We won't touch you. Go to Jason's call. Go knock his
And
shoulder.
Rowan, what's he doing now?
He's married. It's
No, and I
Living
saw
in
the
Vancouver,
photos
yeah.
and everything. Are they in Vancouver?
Real
Yes.
play.
he's working in the business.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he does computer graphics and web design and all stuff like that.
Oh, right.
Amazing. 3 o'clock in the morning, I wake up and I hear like the water running in the bathroom. I think this is like really weird. What's happening here? You know, someone washing their hands this time of the morning. So I think it's obviously either Lorraine or Ro. You know, so I think that's strange. So I said, no, wait. Like I don't hear any footsteps coming back or anything like that. So I sit up, turn on the light, and they're both fast asleep. I get up, walk around, look at the bathroom, there's water in the basin, in the sink, and so obviously someone was there. Then there's no one next door, there's no one anywhere around there.
Jeez.
Now that, I mean, that's with my eyes, I'm telling you. Then we go down to San Francisco, like 2 days later,
Yeah.
we get to San Francisco, and we decide we don't want to stay in the city, we want to go and stay at one of the little
Yeah.
coastal towns close by. Now it's like one of those wild and woolly nights that
Wild
you read
Litmus
about.
nights,
It's exactly like that. The wind is howling and it's pitch dark. So we drive outside of north of San Francisco, and there's like this little cliff road, and it's tiny, it's narrow. There's only room for one car to go along. Now we're going along the top of the road like it like claws its way along the edge of the cliff, and it's incredibly dangerous. We're like really going slowly, and I'm really concentrating and focusing. And after a little while, there's like these headlights behind me, and like I get so annoyed eventually because this guy's right on my ass, and I think, you know, he obviously knows the road better than I do.
Yeah.
And I'm tired, and I'm not going to cause an accident here.
Yeah.
So every couple of 100 yards, there's like a little place where you pull off so that the
Yeah.
guys can pass by you. So I see him behind me, see him behind me, and then I stop and I wait for him, and there's like nothing. Nothing, and nothing. So look around, there's nothing anywhere, and it's pitch dark. And there's no ways this car could have gone anywhere else. There's no ways it could have turned around.
Yeah.
There's no ways it could have gone. So I
Yeah.
thought, honestly, it must have gone off the edge, you know. So we actually looked at the papers the next day. There's nothing. But there's no ways that this car
Yeah.
wasn't behind me. It was continuously. I was still so annoyed by it. It was like really freaky. I should have been there.
But I
It's very scary.
worked at the guest house in one of the guest houses in town, and the owner of the guest house, this woman, shot her husband just a couple of months before, and then she sold the guest house to the new people. And the student that was working there before me, you know, he spent a couple of nights there with me, and he told me the one night just before, he said, "Oh, by the way, you know, this place, there's some strange things that go on here," but he says he's not going to tell me. I'll find out pretty soon myself. You know? So I thought, yeah, you know, right. And we slept in this little room just off the passage, but in the reception area bordering on the street, you know. And often, I mean, there was a cat, the house cat. This thing would, you know, be walking down the passage, and all of a sudden just puff up like this and stare into the room where
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be sleeping. And I mean, I never thought anything of it, you know. And I mean, the door is made of glass, you know. It's, and often the doorbell would ring, but there's no one standing there because you can see the doorbell. I mean, if someone was there, you'd be able to see them. You know?
Yeah.
And often at night, I mean, you know, this was now before I really started thinking anything of it. You know, you'd be sleeping in this room, and you'd wake up in the middle of the night for absolutely no reason, you know, and you'd just be, you know, sort of overwhelmed with fear, you know.
Yeah.
And you'd like scramble up and put on the light, and for some other reason you'd find yourself looking at this empty chair that would be, you know, sitting in the end of the room. I promise you, then you just rather just but the worst of all, right, was one night. Well, three things. The one night this doorman came through, and he was staying in room 102. Now, room 102 had this habit of sometimes at reception, you know, I'd get, late at night, when I'd get calls, you know, from people up in the rooms asking for things and that sort of thing. And you can see the number on the LCD screen of the switchboard, you know. And often, I mean, 102 would phone, and as I pick up, they'd put down the phone. Eventually, I'd get so irritated, I'd look on the booking sheet, and there'd be no one in room 102, you know. It happened often, right? And then this Germany guy stayed in room 102 for one night. He was booked in for 4 nights. And the next day, I noticed that he'd been shifted to another room because I was working that night as well. And I you know, I coincidentally asked the receptionist, "Now, I've noticed that this bloke's moved. Why?" Because, you know, normally they stay in the same room. And she said that morning, just after I left, the guy came and said he wants to either change his room now or he wants to leave the guest house and find other accommodation. He wouldn't explain why, but he said, you know, he doesn't want to stay in that room anymore. You know? But the worst was the one night the fire alarm went off. Okay, and I was sleeping in this infamous room, which I later started sleeping on the couch. Okay, and the fire alarm went off. Must have been about 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I stumbled down the passage. And it was still dark because I put off all the lights into the reception area. Now the reception area borders on the lounge section. And as I walked in there, I noticed this old man sitting on the lounge, suite. And I was half asleep. I looked at this bloke and I thought, what the hell, And I greeted him and he didn't say anything. He was just looking at me the whole time, So I switched off this alarm and I went back to sleep. And I thought, well, if you don't want to greet me, that's fine. And the next day, I said to the woman that took over my shift, I said, this old bloke was sitting in the lounge last night, and because you had to give a report of what happened the previous night. I said, no, the fire alarm went off. But the weirdest thing was this old man and the unfriendly. I greeted him, he never greeted me back. Blah blah blah. So she said to me, no, but there's no one like that staying in the guest house, So I said to her, but no, it's impossible. I saw the guy sitting on the couch. No, she says to me, she's quite positive. She booked all the guests in herself. There's no one like that. All the doors were locked, There's absolutely nowhere anyone could have gotten in or out.
Yes.
So, oh yes, and another, one night, the fax machine just went on. Right, and it started sending a fax, not receiving a fax, but sending a fax. When it went on and started dialing, I thought, oh well, you can program them to like receive faxes and stuff. But then I thought, but hang on, this isn't receiving a fax, it's sending a fax, So I went there and I looked at the number, and then it went off. And I can remember telephone numbers quite well, So it didn't occur to me, and probably about 3-4 months later, I was rummaging through the drawers of the reception desk, and I found the address book of with a lot of telephone numbers because I was looking for some other number. And as I was flipping through it, I noticed the home telephone number of the previous owner, and I remembered that it was the same number that was on the fax machine that evening. No, it's terrible. But a friend was in Murray House. No, Brill House. And he says, one morning he woke up early, but he was in standard 6, and when they're in standard 6, 6 guys sleep together in the door. And he says he woke up early at about 5 that morning, it was still dark, and he says he heard, he said the moon, it was a very pale light in the room, and he says he distinctly heard footsteps on the wooden floor, walking, coming in the door, but the door was closed, alright, coming in the doorway and walking around the room, past his bed and around the other side. And he said that one of his friends on the other side had his feet sticking out of the blanket, And he said that as these footsteps passed the guy's bed, the guy pulled his feet in under the blanket, but he was fast asleep, And he says he saw this. It's these ghost stories are probably I'm not a. It's
between having a roadblock or catching taxis or speed fine, because it's the same guys that do everything. So there are only like 5-6 traffic cops in Isle of George, and they must choose now what they want to do. So they do have like roadblocks, once a week or whatever. And you don't know where they're going to be or whatever. But it's not like
it's a manpower thing. I must say, on the other hand, we often laugh about it and we get so cynical. We say it's ridiculous because we live in a socialist country where the lowest level of labor are totally protected. You get people, they wave flags. When there's roadworks, then you get these people got the slow go kind of sign, things like that. Those people get paid $35 Canadian an hour. Let's just start working out what that costs. A checkout lady, our neighbor is a checkout lady at a supermarket, like Hyperama. She gets $27 an hour. So when your lower level of people are earning that kind of money, you think, the whole system is so top heavy that you start worrying where they're going to find the money to carry out, but they seem to. If there's even the slightest accident, like a bumper bashing, within minutes there are 3 police cars there, I'm not exaggerating, plus